Hey guys, it's Crystal, and I'm here today to talk about the most clusterfuck of a book ever. But I mean that in the best possible way. The book in question is More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. Whoa. I don't know how many people have read this. I'm hoping I can find more because I need to talk about this book. I hear my dog barking from upstairs. I'm back. Where was I going with this? Oh, right. This. This messed me up so bad. But I have to say, it was in the best possible way ever. It was such a good read, and I appreciated it more this time around than I did the first time. I was able to take in more details. I was able to get into the characters' minds a lot more than I did the first time around, and it was so good. Oh my god, I can barely process how good it was. It blew me away. It really, truly did. And it takes a lot to impress me when it comes to novels. And I have to say, I've read other books featuring characters who are gay, and none of them lived up to the one I hold on the absolute top level, which was Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I read that book first, and I fell in love with it. And since then, I've been on the hunt for books with characters who had all kinds of different sexualities. And while they were good books, none of them really compared to Aristotle and Dante. So I kind of gave up hope of ever finding one that would fill that void until I found this little bitch on Goodreads. And at first, the concept kind of made me like, oh, it has a kind of realistic science fiction-y kind of twist to it, and that wasn't really up my alley. But the rest of it sounded really good, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot, and if I don't like it, I don't like it. And I did not have high hopes coming into this. But then I started reading it, and about page 7, I was hooked, and I read right through the night, and I was not tired in the morning because I was such on a high from this book. I still can't even process it properly. The premise is, and this is non-spoilery section, don't worry, I'll warn you before I go into spoilers, but the main premise of this story is this kid named Aaron, he's our main guy, he meets this other boy named Thomas on his block. So our story starts off with Aaron, our main character, who has a girlfriend, lives in this apartment complex with a whole bunch of eclectic kind of characters for friends, shall we say. Some of them are, you know, let's just say pot smokers, dealers, sort of crazy people, but they're loyal to him for the most part, I suppose. And he meets this boy named Thomas who kind of starts to stir feelings in him, and that kind of sets off this whole chain of events. It's really good stuff, guys. And the underlining theme running through this book, and this is where the kind of sciencey fiction stuff comes in, is this thing called the Lateo Institute. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this institute does memory wipes. So if there's a memory or a part of yourself you want to forget, they can do that. They can alter memories and suppress them. They can suppress memories and alter them so you either forget them completely, or you can kind of twerk them so they fit what you want them to be, which is kind of crazy, but it's kind of interesting at the same time. And Aaron's friend Kyle actually had the procedure done after his twin brother was shot, and when he had the procedure done, he doesn't even remember that he had a brother. And the way they set these things up, if you have the procedure done, they have specialists in place that will observe you to make sure it's still, you know, working properly and to carry out your life the way they had essentially designed it to. So it's kind of a crazy concept, but it's really interesting. And what's crazy about it is that that side of the story almost kind of turned me off, because like I said, I didn't like science fiction stuff. But then I realized once I got into this that it kind of took a back seat for a good chunk of the book. Like, poor Aaron. He had such like a difficult background, and it was so sad. He lives with his mom and his older brother Eric. His mom works 2 jobs. He and his brother don't have the best of relationships because they don't really talk too much. And his dad actually committed suicide not that long ago, and he doesn't even really know why his dad did it. And it's like kind of in the background, but then it comes through stronger in certain parts of the book, and it's so sad. It's just, I don't even know how to process it sometimes. It's just like, it's just the saddest thing to read about. And actually, Aaron even tried committing suicide too, but obviously he didn't succeed. And well, that's going to be it for the non-spoilerly section. So if you don't want to be spoiled, and trust me, you don't want to because you will not feel the full effects of this book, leave now because I'm going to spoil the crap out of it. So go now. Just go. Okay, so the story essentially starts off with Aaron and his girlfriend, Guinevere. Guinevere? That's how you say it? Okay, yes. Anyway, it starts off with them deciding to lose their virginity together, and it's so cute. And this is right before his girlfriend is going to an art camp for 3 weeks. So when I first read this, I was just like, girlfriend? Where's the boy? When's he gonna fall in love with the boy? Where is the guy? But then, at a family picnic, he's hanging out with his friend, and during a game of Manhunt, he meets Thomas, and it's so cute. And actually, Thomas is just breaking up with his girlfriend as well, and it's like a short meeting, but it's enough to kind of intrigue Aaron, and he kind of is like, oh, that's an interesting kid, and I'm interested too, and not just because I know that he played a big part in the book, but it was just, it's such a cute. After Thomas and Aaron spending time together, Aaron finds himself opening up to Thomas and telling him about his dad and, the suicide, and even Aaron's own attempt at suicide. And Thomas tells him about, how, he can never really hold down a job because he quits if, it doesn't work for him, and how he loves movies. And, they spend so much time together, sharing their own pain with each other and the things that they like. And it's such like a cute little slow build of their relationship that I kept on smiling every time there was a scene with them. And sure enough, after a while, Aaron is like, I'm starting to feel a little something something. And I'm just like, I feel the little something something too. Oh my God. And actually, he's hanging out with Thomas one day when they actually witness a protest for the procedure done by the Lateo Institute. And that, of course, brings up the whole, would you ever have the procedure done? And Thomas says no, because he has nothing that he would want to forget. And Aaron starts spending a lot of time with Thomas, and his old crew doesn't exactly like that, because they feel that he should be around them and not this new kid from, the other apartment building. And his friends really don't like that he's hanging out with this new kid. And there's one scene where he comes back and he runs into them at his apartment complex, and they're all about to go off and ride their bikes. Aaron doesn't know how to ride a bike, so he says, I'll go get my rollerblades and I'll come with you. But then his friend Brendan says, essentially, you're not invited. Because that's a little bitchy quip that you had to do just to make yourself feel better. Okay, whatever. I got so mad. But then, of course, Thomas does something cute and says that he will teach Aaron how to ride a bike. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's so cute. Now, he and Thomas are getting even closer, and Aaron invites Thomas to his apartment, which he never does with any of his old friends. So he knows that things are getting kind of serious up in here, up in this relationship. And he actually starts suspecting that maybe Thomas is gay too. Wouldn't that work out perfectly? But then Guinevere comes home. Damn it. Ugh, why couldn't they just keep her at that damn art camp? She's gonna ruin everything for my boys. Damn it. Aaron finally realizes that he's gay. So Thomas doesn't know how to fight at all. And Aaron says that, hey, I'll teach you, no problem. And then that cliched scene that usually happens between a man and a woman, where the guy teaches the woman how to fight and then they end up kissing, that happened with Aaron and Thomas. It was so exciting. But, oh my God. But, Thomas is he's straight and it's just not gonna happen. Aaron doesn't quite believe that. He just thinks Thomas is denying what's truly in his heart. Yeah, so things are a little awkward between our boys after that kiss, and it gets so bad to the point that Aaron and Thomas are like kind of avoiding each other, of course. And Aaron gets to be in a really, really dark place, which is not a good thing because he ends up going with his old babysitter Evangeline to the Lateo Institute and books a consultation to possibly get this procedure done, which is not good, but he wants it so he can be straight and he can just erase everything that was awkward that just happened with Thomas. So after he goes to the Institute, he ends up running into Thomas, and they talk, and Aaron admits that he thinks that Thomas is gay too, but he thinks that Thomas is too scared to admit it. But they end up just kind of having this little talk, and then they end up hugging. But this is where shit goes down. Aaron's friends see this, and they beat the crap out of him, trying to beat the gay out of him, I guess. I don't know if it was phrased that way, but they do it for that reason. His best friend, Brendan, doesn't help. He participates, and poor Aaron gets thrown through a glass door. And then shit gets crazy. What really sucks about this next part is that the attack on Aaron triggers this huge surge of memories that he has suppressed. And through seeing those memories, we find out he actually did have the Lateo procedure. He had it months ago, right after his father died. But the attack somehow unwound everything, and all these memories that he tried to get rid of, they just came back up, and it's messing with him. And he knew, like, from a young age, I think it was like 8 or 9, he knew that he was gay, and his father absolutely hated anything that even hinted at the fact that he might be gay, so it was never really talked about. And earlier in the book, we met this guy named Colin, who we assume is just an old friend of Aaron, but turns out to actually be an old boyfriend. He was dating Colin and Guinevere at the exact same time, and Colin had a girlfriend too, and his girlfriend was pregnant because he didn't use protection, which Aaron multiple times said was a real dumbass move of his. Oh, and then we see the scene where he actually came out to his mom, and she said that she didn't care. Like, she did not care, and that was so great. And I teared up again because, like, you always hear these bad stories about kids who come out to their parents, them, getting kicked out of their homes, and it was so nice that, someone reacted so, like, accepting. Like, it was great. And then comes the worst memory of all. Aaron decides that he's going to tell his dad that he's gay, and his mom is with him when he tells his dad this, and his dad goes ballistic, like absolutely crazy. Like his mom, Aaron's mom, tries to tell the dad, if you don't understand something about this, just, ask your son, talk to your son. He grabs Aaron and throws him out of the apartment into the hall, and he leaves him out there for like hours at a time. And then eventually the police get called, and he's, taken to jail. His mom goes to the hospital. But the one thing that stands out in that scene is that his dad says he would kill himself before he lets Aaron, before he lives to see Aaron bring a guy home. Okay, I take it back. That is not the worst thing that Aaron remembers. What he remembers is that he was actually the one to find his dad after his dad committed suicide. And his dad committed suicide in their apartment, in the bathtub, by slitting his wrist. And Aaron was the one who found him. And because it had just been that his dad said, I would rather kill myself than see you bring home a boy, of course, Aaron blames himself. And then he cuts his wrist, and while in the hospital, that's when he decides he wants to just have a restart, and he wants to take everything away. And that's when he decides to have the procedure done. And his mom agrees with him. So Aaron essentially wakes up after the attack, and now that he has all his memories back, the doctor wants to test him to make sure there's no, obviously lasting damage. And Thomas and Guinevere visit him in the hospital, and when it's just him and Thomas, he tells Thomas, about the procedure and, how he remembers everything. And then he tells him that, what he wants right now is he wants Thomas. And I think that's like the cutest thing. But Thomas then says that it's just not going to happen. And although Aaron doesn't quite believe it, he just says then he needs time to let it all go. So that was just like, ugh. And then this bitch Colin pops back up, and him and Aaron end up reconnecting, and you know, Aaron is all like besotted with this kid, and I'm just like, oh, this asshole. And Aaron tells, you know, Colin, oh, I got the procedure done to forget you, and, you know, it wasn't just about him, you know, just like, you know, everything was so tied together, but yeah, he wanted to forget Colin. And they end up, like, you know, getting it on, and I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all, but I guess, you know, if he can't have his boy, then he has to have another boy, and, you know, whatever. And then things start getting a little weird. Like, he starts zoning out at work, he's repeating things constantly, he's forgetting things, and he's like, well, it's probably just a byproduct of the attack, right? So there's this, like, confrontation with Guinevere, Thomas, and Aaron, and in which Aaron says that he would get the procedure done to forget Thomas and their whole history and everything that's ever happened between them. And that really hurts Thomas's his little heart, and he runs off. But then in another confrontation, kind of like almost like you think it's going to be a goodbye scene, Thomas actually gives Aaron a bicycle because he was eventually going to actually teach Aaron how to ride a bike. So when this becomes apparent that his mind is not okay, they end up going to the doctor, and they find out as a result of the attack and everything that unwound with the procedure, he actually has a form of amnesia, and he cannot make any new memories. Like, it's all just gonna like go away. And, you know, it's gonna be about a week after before it kind of hits him fully. So he's like kind of like gradually, you know, being eased into it, but within a week it's going to be like, it's going to be full on, and he's just not going to be able to make anything new. Oh my god. And then there's this one scene where Aaron, his mom, and Aaron's older brother Eric have this, like, you know, big emotional scene where they, you know, they talk about everything, and Eric, his brother, brought up a good point in how he felt that Aaron was cheating because, you know, instead of reaching out and asking for help and, you know, trying to get past everything, he cheated and automatically went to trying to kill himself, or, you know, going and having the procedure done. And Eric was mad at their mom because she allowed him to take the easy way out. So towards the end of the book, you know, Aaron's condition is deteriorating, and, you know, the way his mind is going downhill has just been picking up speed. And he decides he needs, you know, to sort out a few things. So his brother goes with him, and he beats the crap out of Brendan for taking part in getting him beat up. And oh my god, it was great. I was like cheering. I was like, you do it. You beat the shit out of that kid. Okay. And, you know, Aaron just let it all out and told them that, you know, it's because of the attack that all of this is happening, and now he has brain damage and he may never be the same again. And this bitch Brendan is trying to be all, well, we're your boys, we're your crew, we'll take care of you. And then Aaron says, will you still take care of me even if, you know that he was gay? And Brendan doesn't really say anything, and that's kind of when Aaron knows that it's over, and it's just things are never going to be the same, and he seems to be okay with that. And after he makes up with Guinevere and things are set right with them, he goes to visit Thomas, and they're on the rooftop, and it's so cute, and he, you know, they have this heart-to-heart, and Thomas actually ends up admitting that he kind of suspected that Aaron had a crush on him, and he even considered that it might be, you know, the same for him. But then, of course, Thomas says he realizes, you know, that's just not going to happen because he's straight, but he always wants to be a part of Aaron's life, and, you know, he always wants to be around, and he always just, they just want to be together as friends, and, you know, it's not the way I want it to turn out, but, you know, That's just how it is. Oh, so the end of the book is like, I don't know, I want to say it kind of ends bittersweet, because it kind of ends with Lateo putting him on, like, a short list for a possible, you know, restorative procedure in Sweden, and he's gonna essentially kind of be a little bit of a lab rat for them to make sure, to, I guess, try and make the procedure safer, and the, you know, the after effects maybe not as severe. So I don't know what will happen with that. The story ends with Aaron taking the bike that Thomas gave him and trying to teach himself how to ride the bike. And, you know, he sees his friends, but he knows that that part of his life is over, and he essentially is on his own in a way now, and he falls down, but he gets right back up, which I think is, like, such a nice message, because it was so fantastic. And it ends there, and I just want more. I will always want more with these stupid contemporary standalones. I mean, why are you doing this to me? It was, seriously, it was so good. I need more people to read this so I can talk about it, because I haven't talked to enough people about my love for this book. Like, it was so good. And I put it up there with Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. It was that good. And I never thought a book could measure up to that book, but this book certainly did. And I just want to read everything that Adam Silvera writes. Like, I feel like everything he writes is going to be fucking brilliant and amazing. And I know he's writing a new book now, and the premise of it sounds like so good, but it's not going to be out until 2017. But I'm hoping to snag, like, an arc or some early draft of it in, like, he said, like, spring 2016. So hopefully that works out. So I think that's it. I mean, I give this 5 stars. I give this 5 stars on Goodreads. I'm so floored by it, and I can definitely see myself rereading this again in the future. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments in the doobly-doo, and I will see you next time.